Boom, boom. Oh, bitch bad.
You know what's funny is that when you said bitch bad, I'm like, stop. It doesn't mean now it's literally all I can hear. I'm pretty sure they're saying bitch bad.
Why? Why? What does that mean?
Bitch bad. I'm like,
bitch bad. That sounds like
they both start with B. It starts with a B. Yeah, sure.
It's like something someone would say in 2002. Like, oh, bitch bad.
That's diggity. That's
diggity.
Cool.
That's diggity. Oh, okay. Well, now that we're off to a good start, what's up, friendly neighborhood nerd? Because there's one.
Yeah.
But there will be more. What's up for the neighborhood nerds who are watching this in the back play, which does happen, by the way. People do go back and watch this. Judah Rad, Robo Strange, G Money, and Chris Runt. We are your Club Valiant friends, and today we're here to talk about Valiant. But before we get into the nitty gritty, let's. How's everyone doing? It's good to see everyone. G, Robo, been a while. Chris,
wow, it's been like a whole hour.
Yeah.
Since our salmon talk.
Well, you guys were busy with your other fancy show. I was dealing with the Thriller from Vanilla.
Excuse me,
Mr. Joshua Dicehart.
Excuse me. We discuss Sandman on this channel.
Rather.
Yeah.
We're discussing proper comics like Corn Boy.
Yeah. Wait, Corn Boy. What is? I feel like I've heard of that. What is the premise? What is that about?
A woman pleasures herself with a corn cob, and out comes a half boy, half corn.
Gives birth to a half because that makes
because that was a comic that happened that Dicehart wrote.
I called him. So apparently, old Joshua Dicehart was late, and Chris hit me up. He's like, I don't know if he's showing up. Like, I don't know. I haven't heard from him, and I'm like, just wait, just watch. Because remember what happened to us like 3 hours late because he was on. Yeah,
a Dicehart stir always pays his debts.
Yeah,
that's what I always say.
Like,
so literally,
Dicehart time.
Literally, my boy Mike, him and his lady went to the city of Rhode Island because that's all there is there.
The elegant.
And so they've been there all weekend. They came back, and he's like, "I have like 2 hours to do this, and then I gotta go grocery shop and do like adult things." I'm like, okay. And then Dicehart doesn't show up. And he's like, well, I'm going to go. If he shows up in the next like 10 minutes, let me know. And as soon as he gets off, I get the notification from Dicehart being like, dude, like what time zone did we talk?
Yeah, same exact thing as last time.
But good dude. That'll be up tomorrow.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
check that out.
I'm definitely going to spread that around. I literally love Joshua Dicehart. Like there's people that we interview and we're like, what a good guy. And most of them are, I don't know there's any that we wouldn't say, that was fun, or they're good people. But Joshua Dicehart is literally somebody that I need to be my friend. Like I want to go have beer with him and pay for his dinner.
So I also we got to shame some people because G and Judah did not get the memo today.
Oh yeah.
What is
like,
memo?
What the fuck's up, guys?
Weird.
Like, what's up?
I would wear an IFLC t-shirt if I had one.
Well, we're gonna have to fix that. I'm gonna go ahead and
pay for mine, G.
True.
Judah's gone.
Yep, Judah's out of here.
So everybody, I've been drinking a lot of these all day, so this is gonna be a fun show.
Yeah, but mine's harder.
Yeah,
it's so badass.
Listen, I'm good with hard. If you get if you get harder, like I start to get uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like, hey, can you just give it to me hard? Any harder, as I can't handle that.
Plus, I found some pineapple ones, and I'm a big fan of pineapple.
Ooh. Let me tell you something. We're of that. How old are you, Chris? If you don't mind me asking, 34. You said 33.
I'll be 33 next month.
So I'm much older than you. Well, 40, right? But in that window bracket where there's this age group, and I would actually say, I heard a beep. That is, oh look, Judah's back.
Well, that was weird. My
can't stay today, Danny. Danny, you are letting us down. You didn't stay for Sandman. You didn't stay. No, I'm just kidding.
Danny, you're a coward.
You're on thin ice. You're on thin ice, Danny.
You are this close to me being like super frustrated.
Taking you down Wednesday. Love you, Danny.
Oh, yeah. No, Saturday. Saturday.
Oh, was it Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm drunk. I don't know what's going on.
That's okay. Okay. So I already forgot what I was going to say. I think it's the generation older than me.
Okay.
Actually, it's the generation older than me. So I would say 41 to 45. Right? I'll be 41 next month. I'm not in that yet. And I'm like, they're the ones who were like, Mike's our lemonade. Be a real man. And I was always like, nah. Pink lemonade, alcoholic pink lemonade. Fuck yeah, I'm doing that shit all day.
Listen, I'll drink a beer. I like beer. I like IPAs.
Sure. I like whiskey.
And there's one drink that I will not drink because it is too tasty and too alcoholic, and that is a Long Island iced tea.
All day.
I do like a Long Island
all
now and
day.
I'll no, dude. If I drink those, I'll shit my pants, and that's not even an exaggeration.
Like
I will literally shit my pants.
Oh, all right. Now we know.
But yeah, other than that, I'm down for anything. If it tastes good, let's do it.
Oh yeah, Danny M was expecting you to come back with the IFLC shirt, Judah. You had an opportunity.
Oh no,
you didn't take it. I guess you're Superman now.
I would have, but I was busy trying to troubleshoot my internet and figure out why it was betraying me.
It's all good. Well, why don't you lead us in? Why don't you lead the troops?
Okay, yeah. Let's do that. So this week, why are we here? We're here because it's Club Valiant, and we're going to talk about Bloodshot Volume 2. Oh, sweet. The Rise and the Fall. This collects issue 5 through 9. I didn't write down all.
No, there he goes.
No, I wonder if there's a storm or something. So
hope everybody's ready for a shit show today because it's happening.
The IFLC shit show where we go over Valiant comics. Oh, there we go.
My internet.
Real quick,
today.
G, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you were like still for a second. I wasn't sure if you also froze.
I'm just very, very sneaky.
Yeah,
very sneaky.
I mean, you know what's funny is I've actually thought that too. And then I'll stare at G's frame, and I'm like, and I'll just stare at it. I'm like, and then she'll blink. Then they'll blink, and I'm like, that is very still.
Sometimes
I'm gonna
practice.
Just like Drax,
right?
Just like Drax, you're invisible if you're very still. So this is Dwayne Straczynski and the artist.
Start over. Bloodshot Volume 2.
Yep.
How much was I frozen for?
Like at least 6 seconds, which is like 2.5 minutes in stream time.
Okay. Hey guys, we're gonna talk about Bloodshot Volume 2. This is by Dwayne Straczynski. We got art from Manuel Garcia, Arturo Lazzi, Matt Ryan, Stefano Guadiano, colors from Ian Hannon, Rob Steen. Is Moose Bauman on this one? Yes, he's the color for number 7, Moose, and pretty much the same creative team as the last volume. This covers issues 5 to 9, and real quick, which one of us didn't like the first volume? I can't remember. Chris didn't like the first volume.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say unless it's Exo Manowar, just assume it's Chris.
G thought it was okay, right? You thought the first volume was okay?
Yeah, it surprised me.
Okay, and then I think Robo and I both liked the first volume. I think I liked it the most. I think Robo liked it the second most. Yeah. Anyway,
it's easy to entertain us, though. I think the way our brains work is like, show me guns and powers,
right?
So plebes.
Yeah,
right.
Simpletons is.
This one kind of this. So I'm just going to start with the summary of issue 5. So starts with a flashback years ago. Young Pulse, also known as Melissa, she's imprisoned at Rising Spirit, and this kind old woman named Gamma is watching over her.
A lot of my grandma.
Yeah. Gamma's watching over her, except Gamma's not nice. She's fucking horrifying and evil. Which, man, I just enjoyed that. But anyway, now it's the present. Melissa and Kara are chatting. Melissa doesn't really trust Bloodshot, but for some reason, Kara, the army medic chick from the first one, she does trust Bloodshot. As they're talking, they're being surveilled by Chainsaw, Task Force Chainsaw or something, and that's a team that reports directly to Rising Spirit. Somewhere else, Auric, that's the guy who seems to be in charge right now of this facility, is trying to manage a PR situation regarding the black research site that was uncovered in the last episode. Remember all the bodies underground? Now, so the Project Rising Spirit team breaches where Kara and Melissa are talking. They incapacitate Pulse, Melissa, and while this is happening, Bloodshot is having some sort of like meditative congress with his nanites. Now this part is kind of confusing, but basically Bloodshot's reminiscing about a recent memory with Kara, and then it's heavily implied that they did something, but we're not 100% sure what it is. When I first read this, I thought it was that they fucked. But anyway, 6 hours later, Pulse has a Psiot dampening helmet on, sort of like the one used in Harbinger, and she's being questioned by Project Rising Spirit. They have her captive. Kara's also being held, and then she goads the guard into hitting her. He makes her bleed, and then it turns out that she'd just been injected by some of Bloodshot's nanites, which that's the thing that they did earlier that Bloodshot was remembering when he was doing his meditation. Explaining comics is hard. That's what happened. And once she bleeds into the facility, those nanites, they're free. They cause all this damage to like the security systems. They hack the computers, and then we see a brief flashback where Bloodshot gives Kara those nanites. So that was the plan. Give her the nanites, she gets captured, and then when they punch her, she bleeds, freeing the nanites. Kuratich, Bloodshot's former handler, gives him the down and dirty on what to expect at the Rising Spirit Black site. It's incredibly well fortified. There are multiple layers of security leading to the vault, and this is where all of Project Rising Spirit's big secrets are, presumably Bloodshot's real identity. So at the Rising Spirit site, Bloodshot begins his assault. It's really explosive. He wastes a bunch of guards, and then he's confronted by a bunch of hideously enhanced super soldier monster types, and that's the first issue. Yeah, I like that. What happened to G Money? Where's G Money at?
I don't know.
G-Months?
Your fast talking is way funnier when you've had a few drinks. I'll say I didn't get that hint from my first viewing, but what I did find confusing reading. What I did find confusing was the whole sequence of like the nanites and the blood. I was very confused. I had to read it like 3 times to figure out.
Really?
And maybe that's because I'm a simpleton.
Yeah.
Maybe, it was just like, I don't understand what's happening here.
I had to flip back. I had to flip back and see if they did any like foreshadowing of that, because I wasn't looking for it. So when I saw the nanites were there, I was like, wait. And then I flip back and I read the other part, and I'm like, oh, this is the plan. Okay.
Yeah. Other than that one sequence where I thought it was a little confusing, I like this issue. And you left out the ending with the like super team that he has to fight. Which
those are the monsters. Those are
okay.
Those are the hideously enhanced super soldiers that he's confronted by.
Okay. So as soon as they showed up, I was intrigued because we had like a true villain to go against here, at least for the first half of this. So I like this first issue.
I like the way those monster dudes look. They're just fucked up looking.
And I also, it may be me because this is the kind of joke that I would pull on somebody, but when he's like, that's Corn Boy, everybody. When he pulls the joke on the I can't even talk now.
Y'all should go check out Corn Boy.
When he pulls the joke on what's her name, and he's just like, and she goes, well, what about the circle on his chest? And he goes, well, it hurts when you touch it. And so she like pokes it.
Oh shit, sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the kind of joke I would pull on somebody.
Yeah.
I like that too.
That's pretty dope.
That gave me big like in Rogue One with the like, be careful, be sure not to choke on your aspirations, and like the Darth Vader.
I love that.
Yeah.
I
thought this was pretty cool. I really liked the whole first issue. I really did.
It goes because I'm reading this in reverse. It gives me vibes of like Bad Batch. Like each one has their own, and it's not something new. Like it's been done a million times, but each one has their own speciality, and like he's got to fight them all. And that trope just always falls really well with me.
Well,
I like that right out the gate.
You like it?
Yeah, I like this first issue. Yeah, I like this first issue.
Right. I think you said it falls wet with you. I'm like, I don't.
I mean, I'm a little wet, but that's a whole different story.
I'm not familiar with that phrase. Yeah.
It sounds like it falls wet.
But I'm gonna use that later. I'm like, it usually falls a little wet with me, so just continue on.
Sounds like a bat.
But nobody's gonna want to admit they don't know what it means. They're like, yeah, true.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Fell a little wet with me too.
Assume you don't like you're misunderstanding a phrase.
Know exactly where you're coming from, man.
Yep, wet.
So, G, we're talking about what we liked about this first issue.
I don't know. I just liked being back with Bloodshot. I think is what I liked most. I've been missing him. I want to know what happened.
He's a super likable character. Somehow. I don't know why he's likable. He's just like he's got big Wolverine energy, which I think just makes people likable.
I think he's likable because it's easy to relate to someone who doesn't know who they are. Like, how do you not sympathize with that character?
Because do any of us really know who we are?
Wow.
Like, exactly, though. I don't
Good.
I'm Chris.
No, but you're always kind of like, kind of finding.
But who is Chris?
Right.
What
does it
is
mean
Chris?
to be Chris?
That's a big
Why
thing.
is Chris?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, just look at me. It's obvious.
If anything says big Wolverine energy, it's Chris Runt.
I can see it.
Yeah,
Although I'm 100% sure Wolverine would not drink Mike's Hard anything.
Yes, he would.
That's true.
He would definitely drink Mike's Hard Pineapple Strawberry. I mean,
100%.
that just sounds delicious.
Yeah, Mike's Hard Lemonade, no way. Strawberry pineapple, yes.
And listen, you want to go more hardcore, G? I got just pineapple.
Nothing else. Just pineapple. Sorry, we're being silly. All right. So issue
Best
number
episode
1.
of Club Valiant ever.
Yeah. So episode 1, I really enjoyed, but I think it kind of goes back to that kind of that first thing. If what we were talking about as far as like action and superheroes and just feeling like a comic book. And I said this about Sandman too, where in the last episode on Sandman, you guys should check it out. We do that live also. I felt I liked that volume more because it felt like a comic book. Bloodshot is doing the same thing for me. It's like, is it deep? Is it like, does it make you think? Is there a lot of like literary, like whatever the fucks? No, but
it's just cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
He's put his nanites into some. I mean, I think it's cool. I liked it a lot.
I think we're gonna find with this volume. I'm more positive, and I think the reason for that is I have a natural inclination to dislike origin stories. And now that we're past like the get the gang together, this is who Bloodshot is. We can actually like have a fun story.
What is it about origin stories that you don't like? Because I don't like origin stories when they've been told 7,000 times. Like, I don't need Ben to die again. I don't need Pearls hitting the floor again. But if it's an origin story you've never heard before, then I do want to hear that. Why origin stories in general?
I agree. I strongly, bitterly dislike 2 origin stories in particular, and that's Spider bites man becomes Spider-Man, or parents
Pearls.
are dead, I'm Batman.
Right.
We don't need those anymore. But I think what it is it's tough to really get right and to really not bog down and just like kind of bullshit.
So what origin story do you think does it right?
That's a great question. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Is it Cindy Moon, 10 years in the bunker?
Like, sure. I'll go. I have a hard time.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm with Chris. I'm like sick of like seeing the same origin stories over and over. There is one moment in every origin story that I do like, and that's the oh shit, he's the dude now, or she's the whatever now. Like Batman Begins, you probably fucking hate that movie because 99% of it is just origin.
So it's like
it's the epitome.
That moment. I mean, it's Robo's got it like right behind him. That Miles moment with like the flip backwards, like that's right. And it's like I think that's like the Into the Spider-Verse is a perfectly done origin story.
So good.
But I think it talks about the fact that origin stories are overdone.
Well, here's what I'll say. Overdone, tired of seeing it? Yes, 100%. But my favorite origin story for me is always going to be Peter Parker. Only not because he was bitten, but in the way that he became a dickhead, and his arrogance directly led to his Uncle Ben being murdered. When I read that the first time, I was 9 years old. I read that, and I literally fucking cried.
Okay, so
it's really because you're a big Macho Man fan, isn't it?
Yeah. I was 9 years old when I got that thing, and I'm like, he was being, and I think it's like I can like because it's so relatable. Like, yeah, I'm a fucking superhero now. Like, I didn't do the thing that now my parents are fucking dead. Like,
so like, did you know that Doctor Strange brings his Uncle Ben back for like 5 minutes?
Oh, don't tell me that. No, I couldn't do that.
I saw a TikTok about it, and there's like 5 minutes where they get to talk, and he has like the moment of like it's not your fault, and you became a better person, and you saved more people, so it's worth it.
Wow.
I don't know when that happened, but
it was bound to happen though. Like they had like at a certain point you have
when
to.
You have that many characters that interact with the afterlife. There's no way that's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to do it.
Once your Uncle Ben, like, okay, so if that was really Uncle Ben, once your Uncle Ben in the afterlife, I can. That's fine. He can have that. But me on this side, I'm like, I like. For instance, let's go super deep in this site. My dad, anybody's parent, not you, G, sorry. But everybody,
not you.
Everybody's parent. If I could save my parent, either one of my parents, at the expense of 10 people who's dying, I'm so sorry for those 10 people. They're dead. No way. And if I could save 10 people, and my mom from the afterlife goes, "Hey, you did the right thing." I'm like, "No, I did it." I'm crying. Fuck those 10 people out there all dead.
I've definitely told. I think I actually said that to Ainsley yesterday. That like, if I could. Kill your bio mom and bring mine back, I would do it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And you saying that, everybody's like, whoa. Everybody. I'm sure there are a lot of people who would go, wow, that's really fucked up. Me, I'm like, yup. 100%. Sorry. I'd kill everybody's parents to save mine.
Fuck your parents.
Fuck your parents. I love mine.
It's true. Still can't think of an origin story.
Judah, are you struggling with this one?
Huh?
Are you struggling with this one?
I spaced out. I'm sorry.
We're gonna clip that because you were like gone for a second. Where am I?
Yeah, it's like
we're the drunk ones here.
It's Sunday. You're not required to be fully aware.
Yeah. This is the second stream of the day. I'm gonna be going live playing Dead by Daylight. After this, we're getting drunk. I don't care. Yeah.
Good. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Those are.
Are you guys? Are you
so? Good point.
Are you guys ready to talk about Valiant?
Is this the moment where Judah's like, I'm the sober guy with all the drunk people and I hate my life?
Gee, are you high? Please tell me you're at least high.
What?
Are you at least high?
That's a yes.
Yes. Judah, you're the only sober one there. Let's go, Judah. Let's go. Let's keep this shit on the road.
Issue 6, everybody.
Do you guys want to do a redo or something? Or
no.
Okay.
I don't think that's the way lives work.
All right.
We're half an hour in. Let's redo it, everybody.
Okay. So issue 6.
Hell yeah. Issue 6. Yeah.
So Bloodshot fights these. So remember the fucking monsters at the end of the last one? That's what I'm going to call them. I don't know what to call them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're called like Task Force Chainsaw or something.
They reminded me of those people that work with Wolverine's ex with the fingers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking of the dude from Goonies. That's what they kind of reminded me of.
Baby Wood.
Yeah.
What are they exactly? Do we ever find out why they're disfigured and stuff?
Aren't they like mistakes?
They're experimented on people that were Bloodshot was trying to make super soldiers.
That's a much nicer way to say it.
Unlike gorgeous Captain America style, they look like walking cancer.
Captain Carter.
Do you have to assume that there were like some Captain Americas that look like walking tumors?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, his name is Red Skull.
Oh
So-
yeah.
So issue 6 starts off with Bloodshot fighting them, and they're super formidable, and he ends up having to get away from them after sustaining like significant injury. Meanwhile, Melissa's like trying to escape, but then she ends up getting reunited with Gamma again. And while this is happening, Bloodshot, with some help from his nanites, causes a coolant leak that freezes and subdues one of these 4 PRS monster soldier dudes. He then takes out a second guy in a really, really gnarly and kind of dope way by using a broken piece of his own bone to stab the dude in the neck. Which by the way, I greatly enjoyed that. So then Bloodshot's nanites, they start talking to Kara. They assist her in escaping. And then Bloodshot's running low on protein, and the nanites are struggling to both heal him and hack the security system. Things get even worse when the 2 PRS monster dudes ambush him and riddle him with gunfire. He's just getting fucked up in this issue. And then the nanites lead Kara to Chainsaw Command, where some hideously enhanced PRS monster dude that controls the security system is there. She beats the shit out of him, and then she messes up his wiring. And this disruption stuns the last 2 PRS monster dudes, allows Bloodshot to get the better of them. But he doesn't get a chance to kill them. Then Bloodshot breaches the vault where he finds a bunch of Psyop kids, and they seem to know who he is. They recognize him, and they think he's there to hurt them. They're calling him the Boogeyman. And that's kind of where we get left off.
Yeah.
So this one's it's just fighting. This is just fucking straight up fighting the whole time. So it's pretty awesome. And then it ends with like a reveal cliffhanger where it's like, oh, there's these why are there a bunch of kids there, and why do they know who Bloodshot is?
That's right.
If you can get this panel up.
Yeah, this is the best. This is the best panel in the whole series.
Wait. No, I see what you're talking about right there. But this right here, can we just we don't even have to talk about it. We can just go,
dope.
God damn.
Yeah.
And then even afterward, like, so that's cool on its own. And he's like, blap. And he's like, so that's it. Recon, your vitals are dropping, choking, dying. I'm dead. Can't breathe. Like, that's, God damn, that was so dope. All right, hold the one that what were we talking about again?
It's on the second to last page. It's just
second to the last page, that boy. All right, let's put it up.
That panel right there, the look in that kid's eye is just perfect. It tells you everything you need to know of like
what he thinks about.
Fuck this guy, and I want him dead right now.
That's good. I was talking about that earlier with like things that I love about artists and conveying emotion. Yes, the acting that you can convey. Like we could all do happy, sad. We could even do angry, like right. And it's like sometimes there's just like, okay, I don't want him angry. I want disdain. Can you draw disdain? And I think as an artist, that's like next level. Like
that's Manuel Garcia illustrated the interior for this issue.
Yeah.
And,
so giant props to him, because what we showed a minute ago, some amazing action sequences.
Mm-hmm.
And then to do that is like, that's great on its own. That's a skill on its own. But to go from that to this shows that this dude is on another level in terms of just showing emotion and being able to convey a story through multiple layers. Love this issue.
Yeah, this issue is just badass. It's like I don't really have any complaints about it.
It's delightful.
It's still silly, but I think it's fun silly. Like it's not bad silly.
Yeah, I honestly I wouldn't even call it silly. I think it was like if you like action, if you want to see some fucking cool ass fight scenes, this is it. And it also honestly kind of gives you. Nah, that's a lie. In the first issue, you really see the capabilities of Bloodshot when it gets hit by a fucking muscle. But this gives you more about the structure of Bloodshot and how I feel, and I can't wait to read more of it. But I feel he's effectively immortal, like Wolverine.
Kind of like Wolverine,
right? Wolverine is effectively and the Hulk, right? So you have certain characters like Wolverine, the Hulk, and Bloodshot that are effectively immortal, and it seems like this guy is that.
Yeah.
See, what I love about this issue is I take the exact opposite of what you just said.
Okay.
He may be immortal, but he has limits. Where like Wolverine doesn't have limits.
He doesn't need protein.
Yeah, and like there's a limit to Bloodshot, and there's a moment where like he needs something in order to, and we get more into it later on, where he needs something to really help his healing factor. And if he's not around it, like there's literally a line, I think it's next issue, but a line where he's just like, unless you're going to eat one of the kids, like you're kind of fucked.
Yeah. And there's
Wolverine
a panel
should
that
need protein. Like, if you think about it, it's kind of silly that Wolverine can regenerate without a constant stream of matter. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and I think that made me like the character more, knowing that it's not just like he's burned to ashes and then just kind of regrows himself. Like he actually has a limit, and there is a time when, although he is effectively immortal, you could kill Bloodshot.
Just by probably starving him from protein and keep doing more damage than you can repair. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen his head get cut off yet, so maybe if you cut off his head or something, I don't know.
What do you think, G? You're muted. I knew you would do that. It was a test.
I am muted. I had no idea. I had to cough, and then I wasn't saying anything.
We want your opinion.
Yeah. What did you think about the issue?
Yeah. No, I really like this one, and I like. Okay, I don't want to compare the two, but I feel like this is giving me what I'm not getting from Harbinger. Of like, I like that it's a villain, but he doesn't know he's the villain. He's discovering he's the villain.
Right.
Right.
That's way more interesting than.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I do. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I fucking love Gamma as a monster. As a villainous. Because like it reminds me, there was this Legends of the Dark Knight villain from like I think like the early 2000s. And it was like this grandma that was like trying to lure and murder Dick Grayson or something. It was really weird, but I like the whole grandma as a scary thing and not a good thing.
Right. I think people that you generally are supposed to think of as like warm and fuzzy being villains is always a nice trick.
And she's physically imposing too. Like
this is the character that was reminding me of that I was talking about during the wrong stream. She reminds me of like a very real person who was worked in asylum during like the 1870s. And yeah, like just she got off on punishing people.
Wow. That's
and so like
horrifying.
Yeah, like I love this character because there are people like that. This idea of like inspiring fear gives you power. I love it.
Well, even in the last issue, she says something along the lines of like, "You're a feisty one. I like them when they're feisty," or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I like was the fact that you found out she has powers. Like in the first part, when you first see her, she doesn't show she has powers.
Just think she's a mean grandma.
Yeah, she's just a mean old giant nurse that will fuck up some little kids.
What's scarier? Like, is it scarier that you have powers that feed on fear, or you're just a normal human that gets off on hurting people?
Powers,
yeah.
I think honestly, I think the other one is scarier.
Well, see, here's the thing. Here's why powers for me. Here's why. The reason is this. On its own, giant, formidable, scary grandma nurse is great. Then you get older and you think there's a chance for like justice or retribution. Now these aren't little 5-year-olds with powers that you're fucking with. These are 12, 15-year-olds that you're fucking with. And then you find out, nah, bitch, I got powers too. And then it's like, oh my God, this bitch just got way worse. And you know what I mean? It's like,
it's in terms to my own ability. Like I would not be the meanest grandma in the world if she was like not powerful. Just doesn't scare me. You know what I mean?
Not as much as a grandma who feeds on fear and
has superhuman strength. Yeah.
Someone who has like, if it's like, you have powers that generate like that you feed off that, then like there's a reason. But like if you're just a human who wants to make people like, also things that could be real are always scarier to me. So like supernatural stuff, powers don't scare me as much as like there are people like this that just want to make people who are smaller than them cry
suffer.
because it makes
Like-
them feel good.
Like a Nurse Ratched.
Yeah.
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 She does have. She gives off those Nurse Ratched vibes.
Right.
It's just it's creative. I like I'm always gonna like an attempt to be
Like, I
creative,
can
and
imagine
Big Bad.
being like a foster kid who had a shitty foster parent reading this and feeling like so fucking vindicated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
100%.
I could see that. So issue 7's a short one. Well, I mean, it's the same length as all the others, but it's just not a lot happens. It's just a random short flashback to World War I. Kind of illustrates that soldiers. It's not even related to the story. It's just related to the themes. But it's this one page that basically shows that soldiers can overcome any fear as long as they remember that they're fighting for their loved ones or something. Then another flashback to when Kuratich was manipulating Bloodshot to do missions, and then on one mission, Bloodshot, who believes he's liberating kids from captivity, kidnaps a bunch of young Psiots, which are the same ones that are at the Black Site in Nevada. One of them manages to psionically explode his eye, but he still manages to kidnap all of them and turn them over to Rising Spirit. This issue kind of highlights the mind manipulation process used to control Bloodshot and make him do evil shit. So this is why these kids are afraid of Bloodshot, because he's the one that kidnapped them and brought them there to begin with, and he doesn't remember doing it. So, yeah, that's the whole issue. That's
Like,
what happens
how do
here.
you overcome that miscommunication?
I don't know. It's it's a big trope. It's kind of a joke that like when superheroes meet, they always have to fight over like some misunderstanding at first. But this one's pretty understandable.
Yeah.
Like,
this isn't something where you'd be like, oh, you're on our side. Oh, ha ha ha. Like this is like you're
our enemy.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think there's any smoke that's thick enough to hide your dick, though. That's the the takeaway from this issue. So
I mean, maybe he has a micro penis. You don't know, Robo.
There should have been more dicks. There should have been more dicks. There's no arguing that.
Yeah. No. What is that? Is that like? Yeah. No. Smoke is
You're
transparent.
scared to show blood, but you're scared to show a penis.
Yeah. So the only thing I'll say about this issue is that I want to interview Dwayne here, Swazinski.
Yeah.
And is this really just nothing? Is this really? I want to know. I bet you we talked to him, and he's like, "Well, actually, if you read blah 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 issue number blah blah blah, this is actually that dude." You think it's nothing?
It's just there to be like. It's just there to be like. See, we've been manipulating people since as long as we've been using people's families to manipulate them to go fight wars as far back as World War I. Now we're doing it with technology.
You want to put a $20 bet on it?
Yeah,
it literally is there to set up a theme.
I mean, I read the whole run.
Maybe, Robo, I'll give you this. It's originally when this is written, he wrote this to set up a theme.
Yeah, that's
down
what I
the
meant.
line, he might have tied this into something.
I'm not saying
know.
that there's a payoff. I'm saying I want to talk to him as like, was this going to ever be anything? Are these anybody important? And he's either going to go, nah, it was just to like show that we always tip people, or he's going to go, actually, they got the mustaches.
That's Howard Stark all
Yeah.
along.
Yeah.
Like,
And I set up a crossover.
I think this is the weakest issue of the volume, but it's a necessary issue in that it sets up
what's happening.
why these kids hate him.
I liked it, but I'm also a sucker for a flashback.
I liked it. I just think it's the weakest issue of the volume.
I like this right here. This was actually the most powerful panel for me. So trigger warning for suicide. I talk about this stuff all the time where I'm like, there's certain things in my life to where I'm like, if X happens, I'm telling you right now, I'm hitting the eject button, the eject button. And
I feel like people say that shit way too often.
No, yeah, for sure. But when I say it, I promise you, when I say it, I'm not saying that I know the future, but I'm talking about some like I think to myself things like, if I'm super mad and I take off in a hurry for something and I accidentally run over my toddler, you know what I mean? Like those are things that I don't think that I could live with. And when I see this panel, it says early test underscored the lesson of below wood. A soldier needs a reason to take these things. Like I and as a combatant myself, along with Judah, there are things where I'm like, what is my limit? And if I don't have a reason to get back home, let's say I'm in the fucking depth of fucking the scene that's happening here, and I don't have any family. I don't have any kids. I don't have anything. And everything seems to be gone. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out. And so when I saw this panel.
What I'll say to you, Robo, is that somebody who sat in the room with the eject button ready to go, I don't know if it's as easy as you're making it.
No, I don't mean that it's easy. And I definitely don't mean to like understate anything or minimize anything. And if it comes off as that, I apologize.
No, I'm not.
But I mean like the depth, the fucking craziness of
it's
like,
a powerful image.
It's
a powerful image.
I just wanted to go off what G said. Like, I do think that people use it a little bit too often, and maybe even in extreme situations where you're just like, I don't know how I could live with myself. There's still a part of you that even if you wanted to escape this reality, is just like maybe. Yeah. And then for some people, obviously we see suicides every day, unfortunately. But for some people, that isn't the case. But I will say that like I've been to that depth. I've been to the place where I'm just like, it's no longer worth it, and sat in the room with it and walked out alive. Yeah. Obviously, because I'm sitting here today. But
it takes, I think, a lot of sad to overcome that. Just like the deep down self-preservation.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think the one thing that I think probably can, and I don't really know, I'm just speculating, but like what like Robo's scenario involves not just losing something, it involves tremendous amounts of guilt. Yeah. So like this guy on this page, he's experiencing disgust from the things that he's done. So I think that like maybe losing your entire family might not push you over that edge, but maybe being responsible for losing your entire family, I could see that being the thing.
And I think that's the thing that I kind of go with is knowing personally people who've completed, who've gone through with it. It's usually a matter of that level of guilt that's like they can't imagine getting through that. And so looking at the skulls around this dude, like you can make a story in your head where it's like, are those skulls your fault? How many of those skulls are children? Is this you who's done this? And have you realized something? And if you don't have anything, and that's what the point of this issue is, if you don't have anything to go back to, then that's like people are like, oh my God, what did I just
and I'll say you two can talk to this a little bit more than I obviously can because I never served, but like I do understand that there's things that happen that are just in that scenario that just are unbearable, or you just don't want to ever talk about again. And I'll never forget the story of one of my good buddies who came back and we went out drinking and we're at the bar just hanging out, having a good time. And me being a stupid 18-year-old was just like, tell me what happened, man. What'd it go? And he looked at me.
Did you ever kill anybody?
We stopped. Yeah, we stopped our fun conversation. He just looked at me and goes, I don't ever want to talk about it. Don't bring it up again. And that stuck with me because I'm just like, oh, I crossed a line that I didn't even think about. I'm just like, oh, whatever, man. Like, talk about the guys, you know, or what happened over there. And So I do understand that there may be some things in that scenario that I could never understand. But
there's another side of it though. I like the theme here in this book, and I like this book, and I'm really not shitting on this because I think it is powerful, and I think it does lend a certain value to the whole nanite manipulation shit. But one thing that is not being addressed here is there are plenty of people that can go do horrible shit and go home and sleep like a baby, and it's not because of their family, it's because they have no conscience. Like anyone who is a guard at Auschwitz, this is every day for them. Literally every day, people getting like constant flow from minute to minute of murder and violence and hurting people, innocent people, children, weak people who have nothing, you know? So it's not like I don't necessarily buy that they had to give these people something to fight for to make them the perfect soldier, because the perfect soldier, I know people that would make the perfect soldier. You know what I mean?
No,
like they're
100%. But here's what I'll say. I'll just, and then we can move on to the next issue. You got the last word. But in this text, it goes like this: a soldier needs a reason to undertake these next to impossible missions, be it family, God, country, ... whatever. So one of the things that we do as soldiers as part of the indoctrination, it's why we dehumanize people, right? And so that whatever is a part of that dehumanization, where it's like, hey, you have to figure out whatever it is, right? And so, two things I'll say about the Auschwitz guards. I would love to see a study on how many of them fucking
committed
killed
suicide.
themselves, or had lifelong mental fucking issues because of what they did, right? And B, if you look, well, we don't even have to guess this part. We look at the dehumanization of it, and they go, "That's how they live with themselves." You know what I mean? Slave owners,
enemies of Germany.
Well, not even just that. They weren't even fucking. These were barely above animals. You know what I mean? You look at the entire slave system in the United States of America. How do you own human beings as property and murder them? And you know what I mean? Well, I'll tell you how. You put out pseudoscience that says they're not even really people. You know what I mean? And then you use the Bible. God is listening here to kind of like, well, slavery is a natural order of things.
We're very good at that. Like, we're so good at that as a species. I don't know if we have to brainwash someone into thinking they have a family back home. But
you're right.
Do any of you know? Because I've really never thought about this before. Right this moment, was there a draft in Germany during World War II?
There was compulsory service
in Germany. Most of those kind of countries under dictators, you didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
So there probably is a good chunk of them that just kind of closed their eyes and went through their day because they had a family back home that
we talked about that too. Remember that? Like, we talked about that. Like, I'm like, we had this conversation as more of a what if. Let me close this door real quick.
And that's not. I hope I'm not coming off as excusing Nazism.
No,
not at all.
It's a good thought experiment. We had this conversation when we were talking about when they were gonna start pushing people to the southern border, and we were like, and then it kind of like sparked this thought of like, I mean, I would go, and then it would go, well, at what point would we say fuck that? You know what I mean? Like if you're talking about a North Korea situation. Would I, for a separate entity, non-family people, the other, right?
Get back up. What situation are you talking about? Because I missed.
They were talking about sending U.S. forces down to the southern border,
right?
To repel the made-up caravan of illegal.
Right.
Immigrants.
So we're going worst case scenario, especially if you add in some other fantasy elements like North Korea type shit. Would I allow my son in the hallway across the room to suffer penalties? Because I'm telling you, we said this, I think we said this off air, to save, I don't remember if it was on air or not, but I would kill your parents to save mine, right? And so at that point I wondered, like, if you're in a Nazi Germany, what percentage of like, look, this is fucked, but I'm not going to prison for the rest of my life and not being a father to my. I'm not going to have them killed or shipped out. You know what I mean? And then how many of those people are fucking? I don't know. Suffered.
Yeah. It's one of the things.
It's all speculation. It's definitely not minimization or justification.
You're just making me want to play Last of Us 2 again.
Yes.
Robo, you're bringing back to me because my grandparents immigrated from Germany and they died when I was in a teenager, so I didn't really care at that time. And I wish they were here today so I could ask those questions, because I have great uncles and great uncles who are Nazi generals. Like, I have people in my family who were part of the party and part of the system. Now the chunk that came here were just like, fuck this, and left. But I would love to ask those questions.
That would be interesting to kind of get that perspective. And I'm not saying everyone's equal. Like, I'm not saying that all things are equal. I'm talking specifically, there were men operating the worst part of it.
100%.
You know.
Well, yeah. And the buddy I talked about earlier, he was an infantry person during, like, we graduated in 2006. So that was pretty much the core of the Iraq War. So, like, he probably saw some shit that I don't want to think about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So just to cage it in, and I'm glad that, like, that's a huge theme into this book. So that is a good discussion surrounding that. But
and I hope people out there like this, because this made me like this issue more. This conversation makes me like this issue more.
Definitely. So we get to issue 8. We're done with the flashback. It's the present. The child Psyots that were in that vault, they're all free. Mr. Auric, this is like the PRS, the Project Rising Spirit guy that's in charge of this facility. He's freaking the fuck out. He decides to redirect Gamma to the nursery in the vault. She's in the middle of fucking up Pulse. She stops hurting Pulse to go to this nursery. Meanwhile, Auric also tries to reach Chainsaw Command, who's still in Kara's custody. He explains to her that the Psyot kids are very dangerous. So as the remaining 2 Rising Spirit monster soldier dudes are attacking, one of the kids disintegrates the floor beneath them, causing Bloodshot and those Project Rising Spirit monsters to fall. And now they're in the bowels below the compound. The fight between Bloodshot and these dudes continues. As the Psyot kids make their escape, the one called Cloud goes to release one called Clem, who's in some sort of like stasis tank. With the help of some of his nanites, Bloodshot manages to pull the head and spine off of one of these Rising Spirit monsters. He then executes the last one with a rifle at point blank range.
Didn't I tell you what I tell you about artistic trope? They did it again.
The splash. Yeah. After returning to the upper levels of the vault, Bloodshot runs into the Psyot kids again. They're still afraid of him, but he doesn't know why, because he can't remember kidnapping them. While he tries to make sense of the situation, Gamma shows up, and she's apparently way stronger than anyone initially thought, because her and Bloodshot start fighting, and she's really kicking ass. And that's, you see her taking all those bullets. But yeah, that's issue 8. Back to an action movie, you know?
Yeah.
I think this is an important moment from issue 6 that we didn't talk about that pays off in this issue.
Oh, yeah.
And so the nanites are in his brain as this little kid, and he's talking with them. And they show him the nanites going into his brain and fixing his brain to make the neural connectors work and remember shit. And that pays off in here when he's like, who are these kids? I don't understand why these kids are so mad at me. What the hell? And then all of a sudden he gets this image of like, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm an asshole.
That's right.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
What's up, Galad? No worries. Better late
What's up,
than
Galad?
never.
Yeah. This is just a badass issue. Gamma really just still being Gamma, you know? She never stops.
Oh, Gamma.
Old Gamma.
I think everybody can relate to old Gamma, right? Did your grandma beat the fuck out of you? No?
No.
I was never
and as we discussed earlier, awesome. German grandmother. Can we talk about Bloodshot's like 20-pack here? Like, what's going on with this right here?
Let's see here. Jealous? Is that what's going on?
I mean, I got a keg, as they say.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The nanite fitness plan.
I used to say I had a pony keg, but much is a full up keg now. We got a party that can last for let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's 8. Yeah, that's good.
He's
8.
so jacked.
That's anatomically correct. Because there's your 6-pack that people mostly talk about.
This image right here is why they hired Vin Diesel.
That's it.
That's it.
The best actor of all time. So,
have you ever heard the story? Not to go too off topic. You ever heard the story of him voicing the Iron Giant?
Did he actually?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
There's a story. Somebody went into the room with him, and he goes in and he has to say like 3 lines. It was like rock, tree, something else. And he does it. He sits there and he goes, rock, tree, branch. And the director's like, all right, man, like that was really good. Let's try it again, but maybe with like a little bit more, I don't know, like sass to it or something. And he sits down and just goes, rock, tree, branch. It's like, perfect. We're done.
Awesome.
That's funny.
But this issue is really good.
Yeah. This was really good.
It's like exactly what we're wanting from this title at this point. Just speaking for myself, like, there's you need a grisly murder in each issue. You know what I mean? You had like the bone stab, and now we have the head and spine rip. So I think that's just an important element here that still going strong with the graphic murders.
I think at this point it's become Commando, the comic book, and I love Commando the movie. It's ridiculous and action packed, and that's where it's really connecting with me at this point. It's just like it's just a stupid action movie that I could see Arnold Schwarzenegger starring in the 80s.
Let me ask you this question, Judah, the person who's read this already. Does Bloodshot ever get cerebral? Like, or is Bloodshot the title that's going to be like, you want an action movie? I'll give you an action movie.
I'll put it this way. If you consider Old Man Logan to be cerebral, that's about as cerebral as Bloodshot gets. So, like, the Jeff Lemire run, which I think is a much... I mean, I like this run, but I think that's, like, the prime run. That's the best run. That's the one that has kind of, like, Old Man Logan vibes. I'm talking about, like, the Lemire Old Man Logan run, not the original storyline. But where it's like, I don't think it's too cerebral. We're not going to be sharing what it's about, but it's a little bit more introspective with all the same super awesome action movie elements still there. So
you mean what Jeff Lemire is really good at?
Yeah, exactly. That's about as cerebral as it gets. This is not that title. This is not Harbinger, where we're sitting here like trying to like break down every element of the morality of it. It's just mostly fun.
Yeah.
And it's to talk about the Holocaust, so go figure. But yeah, it's just stays fun. This definitely never forgets to be fun, which I definitely appreciate. So all we got it left is issue 9, and this is kind of wraps this little story up in a tight bundle. So starts off 10 miles away from Rising Spirit headquarters, which, by the way, I think is located at the Nevada Test and Training Range where Rogo and I sometimes do our job. That's just what I think it is, but who knows? Kuratich is monitoring the situation and passing updates to a mysterious voice on the radio. He clearly answers to someone else. This voice is especially interested in the young Sayat children and Bloodshot. Speaking of Bloodshot, he's getting his cheeks clapped by Gamma. Kara, who is still holding Chainsaw Command captive and is talking to Bloodshot's nanites, is instructed by the nanites to kill Chainsaw Command. She refuses to kill him and knocks him out instead. She then goes to rescue a traumatized and wounded Pulse. Auric, recognizing that the situation has gone to shit, evacuates from the facility. Bloodshot has also seen better days. His nanites can't repair him anymore. Luckily, the young Sayat kids can finally tell that he's not the same Bloodshot that kidnapped him. They saw him try to protect them, and they've decided to help him out. Bloodshot uses his last remaining nanite abilities to deck Gamma in the face. It's not nearly enough. She then badly hurts Pulse, who is rushed to Bloodshot's aid as well. Eventually, she's defeated by Clem, and a young Sayat will eventually know as Animalia. I think that's the one. Yeah. Clem ends up finishing. Yeah. Clem ends up finishing Gamma by psionically pushing her to literally scratch her brain, which is fucking dope. Which ends up being just as gruesome as it sounds. Melissa, who's very badly hurt, tells Bloodshot that his past doesn't matter as much as what he does next. Whoa, and what he needs to do next...
Stop.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. What he needs to do next is protect the young Sayats that he freed. On the last page, we see Kuratich talking to his mysterious master. He's being ordered to stand down while his secret boss takes charge of the situation. His secret boss is revealed to be Toyo Harada. Dun, dun, dun.
Here's the only thing I don't like about this ending. And this is the part that kind of bugged me a little bit. In a movie, if we heard speech bubbles, we would know who the fuck is talking to him.
Well, maybe if it was masked voice, like I am, you know what I mean? Like the
like the voice, you don't recognize the thing. Yeah.
Or that's also the beauty of comics.
What they do in the movie is you wouldn't hear the voice; you would just see him reacting to it on the phone.
Yes, sir.
Maybe.
Understood, sir. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like that. I would have rather that because that was the only thing. My brain does that stupid shit, just like with like time thing. I'm like, that doesn't make sense because this, right? For me, I'm like, I've heard him talk. Like this shouldn't really be a surprise because I would have heard Toyo Harada talk. I'm sure he has a strong Japanese accent and all that. But yeah, I guess if it were a movie, I would have rather like okay, right on it. No, sir, we'll take care of it. Like you don't know who he's talking to, and then you find out it's Toyo.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, of course, like Itching the Brain and all that.
It's a good reveal because at this point there really hasn't been much connectivity between titles.
Yeah. And then if you're a huge Valiant fan, how about that right there? I don't think I can zoom in on that, but that in the bottom right corner. Like, I bet you that kind of stuff was like squeal.
Well, it said that at the end of the last Harbinger volume too. So now we have 2 volumes that leave us hanging at Harbinger Wars.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's definitely, I don't know. Are you folks excited about Harbinger Wars?
Is that what's next?
Reading this? That's the next thing.
Yeah. That's dope.
I mean, I'll say I really like this volume. It's the first non-Exo Man-O-War thing I really like.
Yeah.
And it's because it's just a stupid Schwarzenegger action movie.
Sure.
There's some elements in it that we can really pick apart that are like really good and really bad, but all in all, it's just I turned my brain off and I was like, this is so much fun. This is awesome. Let's do it. When we got to here, I can't say I'm excited because it says Harbinger before Wars, but but I'm interested at least.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like how they connected the Psyots in, and it gave the first kind of real connectivity to this being a shared universe.
Yeah.
So where we're at is the Renegades are going after Toyo Harada over in Harbinger. Also, Toyo wants to control the young Psyots that just escaped Rising Spirit, but they're under the protection of Bloodshot. That's the setup for the event. Yeah.
That's it. Which now makes the cover of Harbinger Wars where they had Toyo Harada like deconstructing like the head of Bloodshot. Like now I'm like, got it. This is why them two are gonna go head to head.
Here's a question going in, and I don't have the answer. I mean, I do have the answer, but I don't have the answer. If Bloodshot was designed and first utilized to kidnap Psyots, I wonder if he was also built with Toyo Harada in mind. That's all.
Oh, as a thing, yeah. What I think you're doing is, I think you're acting, and I
foreshadowing.
I think you're acting and pretending like you don't know. I think you're just pretending to throw us out like, well, I don't know. We'll see.
What are you, some kind of private eye detective?
That sounds nothing like him.
So to go from left field to just like the field 20 things over, I thought of something that I liked that was an origin story, and it's Exo Man-O-War Volume 1.
There it is.
Hey, that's really well done origin story.
And it has the part. Yeah. The first volume of Exo Man-O-War has that part. He's now the thing. And it's like that's the only thing I really love about origin stories. Moment of like, there he is.
Gilad Animata says, yes, I loved it. I've been a fan since 1992 when I discovered Valiant through Unity. We will get there.
We will get there. We'll get to post 2012 Unity. Yeah, this volume is a trip, man. I just really there were no parts where I was bored. There were no parts where I was like, when can I finish this? And this is my second time reading it. So it's just like satisfaction and fulfillment and really, really good art. Like what you just had on the screen and like that. Yes. And Bloodshot badass.
That's that variant cover. Go back a page. With Gamma over like in the little playroom, there's something about that I love.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, with the blocks and stuff.
I think it's because all the rest feel like they could be Punisher covers, and that one just like has a uniqueness to it that the rest don't.
Yeah. That Gamma cover is dope. I'm actually gonna look for them. Write that down. The art that we've seen so far has been great. I don't have any complaints, but I am a fan of dark and gritty, photorealistic type shit. And so this one on the left, if we can get a run drawn by Trevor Hairstein, as it says here, I would love it, because that would be my only critique so far. The interiors for everything that we've read, from Exo Man of War to Harbinger to everything. The interiors have been
not as detailed as you.
This is something that's personal, right? It's just a personal kind of thing. I know this is, and especially in the way that I describe it, it's going to be clear. It's like, well, what else? What do you want? It's very comic booky, right? But when I look at Jason Aaron's fucking Thor run on Esad Ribic and stuff like that, like the way that it gets super like, it's art. I'm not saying it needs to look like a television. It's clearly comic book art, but there's something really different about it. And this on the left, it's not Esad Ribic, but still, like this art style is super realistic and gritty.
You'll get that from the Lemire run. Miko Soyen does the interior art, and it's very much like in the more photoreal, gritty, pulp movie kind of direction.
Good. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with comic booky art. It's just for me, I'm just kind of like, I don't like knowing that I'm reading a comic book.
So Robo, that shows a big difference between you and I, because that image that you're pointing to turns me off.
Really?
I would not read that book. Or at least I wouldn't want to read that book. I probably will have to read that book in this series. But
well, this is a variant, so who knows?
You know what I mean. If that was the next volume, I would have to read it. But I mean, in terms of if I was going to the stands and that was the art, and I hate to keep making this comparison, but like that looks like a Punisher book, and I don't like Punisher.
But do you not like the Punisher because of its art or because of its storytelling?
I don't like the Punisher because of all the things you said. The dark, gritty, like down on the ground story. Like when I like, I think I've said this before on this show, but when I like Punisher, it's when they do Frankencastle, and that's the stuff that it's stuff everyone else hates, but I love it because it's just like, oh, he's interesting now. He's not just the guy that shoots the bad guy.
Sure.
And that's the vibe I get from that image right there. Is like, oh, that's the guy that shoots the bad guy. Where the rest of this volume felt like the action hero who goes in and saves the day. And yeah, like, we can deconstruct action movies all day where like there's things in Commando that happen that are not good. And there's people that die that shouldn't die. But like you turn your brain off and you're just like, he's the good guy and he saved the day. Yay. Like that's kind of what I get from this volume.
One thing that I think distinguishes Bloodshot from the Punisher and from Batman and from dude that fights crime trope, you know, gritty, dark, anti-hero type, at least aesthetically anti-hero dude that fights crime, is that Bloodshot is fighting the man. If you think about it, he's fucking fighting the man. He's off the reservation. He's not enforcing the law. You know what I mean? He's not a cop.
Yeah, I don't want to get the idea that I think he's the Punisher, because he's not, and I agree with you on everything you said there. But that image there gives me the vibe of Punisher storytelling. And a lot of people who write Punisher, even great writers like Matthew Rosenberg, who did him recently, fall into this trope of, well, he's dark and gritty, he's on the streets, and he's killing the bad guy. And that's the whole thing. There's nothing else. Like...
Which I love. But yeah, I got it.
Yeah. That just shows the difference between me and you guys. Like that's what I'm saying,
Yeah. For sure. What about you, G? Do you have like a preference on art style or storytelling styles when it comes to your comics?
I think I've noticed actually, like being in the IFLC groups, that I think I'm one of the least picky when it comes to art. I don't think I've ever been like, I thought the art in this book was bad. I don't think I've ever said that. And I think that comes from like my mom was an art teacher. So like I don't believe there's objectively bad art. I believe it's just not your style. And like I'll read a book I don't care about if the art is really good, like X of Swords. And I'll read like a good book with I think like art I don't like if the story's good. Like this for me has both. Like I don't love the art in Squirrel Girl. But I love Squirrel Girl. It's just like it's not my favorite because they're not made to look pretty.
Sure.
And like I was reading Marvel Max, Black Widow, and like that art is definitely like very sexy. And like I preferred that because everyone's pretty, the women, the men, everything.
Yeah. I think that's like a good like mix for me.
Right.
What I would critique on that is I agree with you. I don't think there's objectively bad art. I think there's objectively bad storytelling art. because
you mean
I
like
always come back
panels
to
that
this.
don't convey what the writing
No,
is saying.
I come back to this series. So obviously everyone knows I'm a big Captain America fan. So anything ancillary Captain America, I'm a big fan of as well. There was a Winter Soldier miniseries that they did after Original Sin, where Bucky was like taking over the role of the man on the wall in the cosmic universe. I don't know if anyone else remembers this but me, but I do. And the art in that book was so horrendous that I could not read it. Like, it doesn't matter what the story was. The art ruined the book for me.
That's
And
exactly
I
how
tend
I
to
am.
be, and I tend to be the guy at the comic shop like you, G, who's defending every artist. Like, I know so many people are just like, oh, Jeff Lemire should never draw again. I'm like, well, Sweet Tooth was awesome. I loved it. This is great. I want more Jeff Lemire books. You know, stuff like that. So
when it comes to critiquing art or saying that it's good art or bad art, it's not a conversation you can have unless you establish a baseline that you're comparing it to. What is the intent of the art? Did it meet that intent? And then you can measure if it's good or bad. You know what I mean? So
the only
which
one
is
that
why
I thought ever like just really did not work for me was She-Hulk. There was a run and it's
Polito.
Yep.
Javier Polito. Yeah, I hate
can't
that
say
art.
it's bad art. I think it would work for like something that's like, you know, like a Cartoon Network based comic. But like for She-Hulk, it just didn't work for me.
Right.
But it was a good story. It's a Charles Soule run. So like it's worth it to read because all the words are good.
Yeah. I didn't hate the run, but I definitely strongly disliked the art on that.
yeah, and Judah, that's why I put the preface on storytelling art. Like, I think you can be bad at portraying the story through or conveying the stories through panels, but the art could still be pretty, and that's kind of what it's a little derogative, but like that's why somebody who can do a pinup and you could say like that's a pretty picture doesn't mean that they could tell art. Do a sequential art.
It's a whole different. It's like a whole different element to art, and that's why comics are special. Is because the artist is a storyteller. So if they can't tell a story, then they're just not cutting it, no matter how good they are at drawing stuff. Yeah, I got what you're saying.
I can't find anything drawn by Javier Polito.
Just Javier Polito, and you'll see it's a little ugly.
I'm in there.
It's just
kind of
very
ugly.
Chunky.
Chunky, yeah.
Let's go to
like it's lots of bold colors, which I do like, but like
I'm actually
it's the hard lines that I don't really like. Takes some of the comic book magic out of it for me to like.
It was the faces for me that like really took me out of it, and that's the same thing. It's the faces in Squirrel Girl.
That's not it.
Yeah, no, that's
not it either.
Not it. That's good.
These are the one down, and to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. One more over. There. Yeah, I think that's it. No, that's not him. Never mind. You're not. I'm not seeing it on. I'm not actually seeing any interior.
I have Javier Polito.
See the one that has dialogue on the right.
Right here.
Yeah, it's on the second line up.
Here.
Yep. No. Down one. There.
Up,
yeah.
Over. Yeah.
There yeah.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
That's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not good. Oh, Polito. That's probably why.
See, and I can't even say it's bad. I just don't think it works for She-Hulk.
See, and I'm doing the same thing you guys are doing with that Winter Soldier run, and it's a fun experiment because I kind of want to go back and read it because I'm wondering if I have different eyes than I did when that book came out. Because I'm like, this isn't as bad as I remember it being.
Oh
yeah, there you
go. This
there it is.
Work. Yep.
I remember seeing that panel and being like, I don't know if I can keep reading this book. Like,
and it was just
bad. That's not
the rest
good.
of it doesn't bother me.
That looks like somebody attempting to do all red and failing miserably.
And it's
like it does.
Like, when you can show like, oh, you know, you do the subtle differences between like emotions that are very close together. That's not here. There's no subtle differences.
That's right.
That face is and that's my problem. Like, I don't like animated TV shows very much. It's like pulling teeth to get me to watch an animated show. Because like I can't tell what anyone is thinking because there's no facial expression. And that's how I felt reading this. It's I don't know
the
what
new Ninja has a very similar.
That's the same artist, Javier Polito.
That's why I brought it up because it seems like I was like, this seems like the new Ninja dude. And here's the problem: is that a lot of CGers fucking like shit on it. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna like it. And I looked at it, and I was like, oh, I want to hate this so much.
So
I want to like it, but I couldn't.
I usually don't get into those fights, but I saw what you're saying right there with the CGers.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it hurts me that they're right.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And I had to call it out online. I was like, this is, to me, and apologies to Valiant. I mean, I'm attempting to work with you on something, so if this ruins it, I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell the truth. If you want to be a top tier publisher, that is unacceptable. And the fact is, like, Marvel can kind of get away with that because that's like the 100th selling book of their publishing line.
Because it was She-Hulk, and it's not one of the titles people super care about.
Yes,
but you
had
burned
on She-Hulk. If that was Iron Man, everybody would be freaking out. Just like if it's Ninja, everybody is freaking out. So. It's no offense to this artist. I just think he needs more time to cook and to figure out his style.
If you're watching, I couldn't do this. I think you've got a lot of great stuff going for you.
No, I actually thought about that. I was like, in my head, I'm like, man, I'm glad that we're not like super famous because that would hurt.
Well, that's the point of being.
I like this one. I think this one works because like it's not just a face shot. I don't know. I like all the colors in it. I can sit and look at that one.
So you said it earlier. Here's the deal. So check this out. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not backpedaling. I'm not bullshitting. The new Ninjark by Polito, the new Ninjak. I saw Ninjark.
He's
so, I always tell you, I fucking love it.
Listen, this show went down the road the first half hour. We kept it together for 45 minutes. And now we're going back down the hole. Okay?
Judah was clearly annoyed. So like, hey, let's pull it together. No, so check this out. Here's what I'll say, and I'm not backpedaling. When I saw Ninjak, and I sent this to Miracle Man on in DMs, we were talking about the whole like CGers thing because I was like, "What are they even talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, you got to check it out." So we got a review of it. Valiant, I didn't send the whole thing, but I did send one panel, and I showed Miracle Man, and we both reacted pretty much the same way. We were like. It looks like it's supposed to be like in the style of like comic strip kind of style. And you hit the nail on the head. I agree with you 100%. It's not that this is bad because literally nobody. We had this thing with Polly and like no matter what we're calling bad, you couldn't do it. Like this is good art.
That's part of being somebody who critiques these things.
Right.
Yes, I can't do it, but I can still critique it.
That's fair, but we're not even going past that. The rest, Here's what I'll say. Is he a good artist for a Hulk character? She-Hulk specifically? Is he a good artist to tell a Ninjak story? And in Ninjak #1, and I got to see it, and I'm sure as fuck, goddamn, not a CG'er. I'm looking at it as a comic book reader, actually, and going, this is not what I want to see for Ninjak. You know what I mean? Maybe Lumberjanes. I don't fucking know. But
I was gonna say
not
like
Ninjak.
Powerpuff Girls.
Yes. Yeah.
So, right.
Like
there's two things here.
Sweet Tooth. What was the other one? Sweet Tooth. You said, right? Is that the one?
Yeah, but and that's the thing.
Like,
I wouldn't want Jeff Lemire drawing Ninjak either. Like I love Jeff Lemire's art.
There it is. Yeah.
I would not want him drawing Ninjak. I think this artist could do something positive. And this is not to say something negative of him, but this really does feel like somebody who
wants to be like Mike Allred.
Well, that too, but feels like somebody who's in the indie scene, the like Kickstarter scene. And I'm not shitting on the Kickstarter scene. There's some great books in there. I have friends inside that scene. But I'm saying it feels like somebody in that scene who hasn't grown enough to get to this level.
Who's the guy that you hate, Judah, that does all the variant covers? Something.
I don't hate Scotty Young. I don't hate him.
I don't hate him.
Judah.
That's from everything I know about him. He's a really swell guy, and people seem to really like him. I don't hate him,
but I would not want Scotty Young to draw a Ninjak or Wolverine.
The only time I get a Scotty Young variant is when it's the only version. It's the only variant left on the rack for that particular issue. And
Judah, wow, you hate him that much? Wow.
I'll only get a Scotty Young variant if it's like the only one left, and I really need to read this story. So I just suck it up and I do it. But I think.
But I don't hate him.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him. I strongly dislike his aesthetic for his work. I don't like the chibi versions of characters.
Judah, have you read either his Wizard of Oz or I Hate Fairyland? Preferably I Hate Fairyland.
Good.
I will buy you I Hate Fairyland Volume 1.
I Hate Fairyland.
Deal.
I will buy it for you because it is one of my favorite books ever. And I'm not necessarily a big fan of his Marvel like baby art, although I do have like a Captain America baby statue somewhere in this house. But I do agree with you that can be overdone. Whereas this book is amazing. Is that signed by him?
Signed Wonder 318.
You better hope I never find you. Oh, that's so beautiful. I love it.
Yeah,
it's an Image comic.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's from Image comic. It's his interior art.
No, it wasn't a Kickstarter. It was straight off the Scotty Young website. He made a tweet about it. And I was like, ooh, gotta get it.
Yeah, his interior art is some of my favorite. And it's one of those things too where I would not want Scotty Young to do a Ninjak book. Right. I would not want Scotty Young to do a Captain America book.
If you buy it for me,
what about a Scotty Young Punisher book?
By the way, can you get the signed one that it's on his website?
Yeah, I want the one that Robo has.
I will promise you a volume 1. If you hit me up after this, send me all your stuff. I'll buy you a volume 1, send it to you because I want to know what you think.
Get him a busted ass paperback.
Okay,
but it is. That's probably why I'm gonna buy him, Robo. But it is one of my favorite books ever.
And send it FedEx.
And it's actually coming back, Robo. I don't know if you know that.
Is it? So,
yeah, as part of the Substack.
So this is what we this is what we got for next episode. Real quick, let me enlarge myself. So this is here's the deal.
Biggin, motherfuckers.
Biggin. So let me just get this shit out of the way. Yeah. So whatever. I guess I have no choice. So it's a big episode because there's the main Harbinger Wars event, which is in this book right here. And you can kind of look at that cover. It's got all of our friends from the Renegades. It's got Bloodshot. It's got Toyo. And it's got those Psyot kids. So that's what we got for the main event.
They're involved.
I got no friends from the Renegades.
So then we also... Oh, shit. What am I doing? Yeah, so we also have these two other trades. Nice. It's Wars Harbinger and then Harbinger Wars Bloodshot. So I don't know how you guys want to do this. This is a tall order for an episode. We got to read these 3 trades. Structurally, I'm not even sure how.
We got 2 weeks, right? And the next one's going to be on a Saturday, so we're good.
So yeah, this might be a question that somebody in the audience might have, Judah. So I'm going to ask you because I feel the same way. Should I read Harbinger Wars then the ancillary books, or should I read the ancillary books then Harbinger Wars?
So that's a good question. And I'll give you the best answer I can. When I first read it, I read them all in 100% chronological order. So I was bouncing between books, and it was a big pain in the ass, but I got the story in order. This time, because I already started reading Harbinger Wars, I will say that when you're reading Harbinger Wars, things happen, and it's not hard to figure out how they happened, but you also find yourself wishing that they were expanded on, and they get expanded on in the ancillary books. So, like, you'll read this book, and the first, one of the issues will end with a fight, or one of the issues will end with a fight beginning. The other issue will begin with the fight ending, and you'll find yourself wishing that you saw the fight. Do you know what I mean? That's what's in the ancillary books. So
it's an event book.
It's an event book, yeah. It's an event book. I think you'll be fine either way. If I was doing it to do it in chronological order, but I also acknowledge that that's a weird way to do it. And I think it's easier.
You got to bounce between the trades to do that.
Yeah.
Yep. For you, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Just for you.
So that's going to be fun then, because then Chris will do it that way. Robo and G, I'm assuming, will just read like the main event and then the 2 tie-in books. And yeah, I guess I'll do it that way too. So Chris will be the one that can comment on in order. And then as far as the structure of the episode, I'll go through the main event like we do with all the other books. And then just as a side note, like after we talk about one of the chapters, we can be like, oh yeah, and in the corresponding Bloodshot tie-in, this happened as well, blah, blah, blah. Like it'll be a little bit more free form with the tie-in books because we still have to keep this in under like an hour and a half. And I just think it'd be super tedious if we did like 12 summaries of issues while we went through this. So we're not going to do that. But
it'll be a part of the conversation, though. So.
It'll be a part of the conversation.
Oh,
yeah. So that'll be fun. And then after that, we got Archer and Armstrong, which I think.
Yay!
I think it'll be like a reverse. It'll be like a reverse. I don't think Robo's going to love those books. I think you'll like them, but I think you're also going to be like, it's like for kids. You know what I mean? But I think that G.
And that's where I shine.
I think G and Chris. G and Chris are going to really like those. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not tame. It still has like some sex jokes and some like ha-has. Some grown-up ha-has.
Well, I like, is it kind of like for kids, but not really like Family Guy, Rick and Morty type shit, where it's goofy but for adults?
I would say,
or is it like Shrek?
Right.
I would say it has some strong Rick and Morty vibes.
Okay, then I probably would like it. Then I like goofy stuff. Yeah.
I think we're all gonna like it. Then
Shrek is a good one. Shrek is like super for kids, but if you're an adult, you'll get it.
Yeah.
But Rick and Morty is like.
There's
looks
a jackass
like for kids,
mode.
but it definitely isn't.
Yeah, it's I'd say it's closer to Rick and Morty than Shrek. So maybe we'll all like it. We'll see. I hope we all like it. Yeah, cool. So that's all I got.
Dope.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, want to talk about your show real quick? You just got done with an interview. Should be up tomorrow. Talk about your show.
I don't know if you guys can hear that or not.
Is that Bulbasaur? Yeah, that's Bulbasaur.
That is Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
My son? What?
So, Jordan loved the fucking Robin from the last Batman movie. Put up a thing that said "Tell a love story in 4 words," and I said, "I choose you, Bulbasaur."
Nice.
My show. I'm drawing a huge blank.
You say Charmander, we're done.
No. You talking about the actor's name?
The actor,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Jason Gordon-Levitt.
Jason Gordon-Levitt. Not Robin.
Yeah, he's Robin. At the end of the movie, he goes, "Or you could call me Robin," and it's dumb and nobody cares.
He didn't say that.
He did say that. Go watch Batman: Dark Knight Rises again.
And he says, "Call me Robin."
He goes, or no, his maiden name, or I don't know, something. His name is Robin.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt explains the Robin ending in Dark Knight Rises. We're doing this right now. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt has explained the mysterious ending of The Dark Knight Rises, in which his character John Blake was not only revealed to be called Robin, but also set up the successor to become a new iteration of Batman. Of course, despite fans taking this to mean another sequel could be on the way someday, Christopher Nolan's 2012 has never been followed up. Well, in a Reddit Ask Me Anything, Gordon-Levitt has revealed why we had such a huge cliffhanger, saying that's exactly how Nolan had intended to end the film. During the AMA sessions, which tied in his announcement of a new short-form miniseries, one fan had jumped in and asked the actor, "So that Robin ending, were there any plans to do anything with that?" Gordon-Levitt replied, "As far as I know, that was always going to be the conclusion of Nolan's Batman movies. It actually makes a really good ending to this trilogy. The theme recurs throughout the Batman is more than a man. It's a symbol. It makes sense to end the story with the person other than Bruce Wayne donning the mask."
So I like that movie more than most.
He says, "Call me Robin."
Yeah. But the ending is dumb. It should have just been "Call me Dick" or "Call me Grayson" or fucking name a name other than fucking Robin. Dick. You can call me Dick too. I don't care. But like something other than like "Call me Robin," wink. Like
that went right over my head. I don't know why I didn't notice that. I thought you were trying to say Chris O'Donnell. That's who I was thinking of.
I might have said Chris O'Donnell. Yeah. I'm a little drunk. I don't know what's going on. What was the original question before I start talking about Bulbasaur?
Oh yeah, talk about your show and your stuff. I don't know.
Okay, now that Judah's angry at me, my show is Fortune Comic News. None of you want to watch it now because I've been obnoxious this entire episode. But we do a weekly podcast where we talk about comics. And this week, actually tomorrow, if you're watching this on Sunday when you're supposed to be, we're interviewing Joshua Dysart, and it's the great final battle between me and Dysart. We had a lot of fun. He's a good dude.
The ultimate battle.
I'm like just on the edge. One more, and I'm blacking out. But it's a good time, and I'm having fun. And go watch that show because I love it.
Hell yeah. G, in the Discord, our director of theater operations.
Yes.
What can we expect this week for people?
Well,
dropping
tonight, in about an hour, we're gonna be watching The Sandlot.
Hell
If you'd
Ooh.
come get some
I like that
nostalgia
one.
with me. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that since like my 10th birthday party.
The original or the superior one from 2000?
It is this one.
Nice.
Assuming
No
that
Billy
this
Bob
one-
Thornton. I'm not
this
showing
one
up.
works.
Is that where we learned what s'mores are? Is that part
Did
of it?
we ever
Never mind.
not know what s'mores were?
I learned from the Sandlot. I was like, ooh, those look good. We should do those.
Is that why you have them like every weekend now?
I do have I was having them every weekend before I started taking my health into consideration.
Before we
Oh.
go,
Here it goes.
let's hear it.
Here it
Ready?
goes.
Try my legal name.
You should use your full name. I like that name. Robin.
Oh my God! Why?
It's
Wow.
so dumb.
Why? Oh my God! That is so fucking stupid. That's so fucking
Fucking
terrible.
Robin, that's good. I think that's good. I like it.
No,
What
it's
a-
so
I
dumb.
like it.
So if during, I'm sorry, G, we cut you off completely for
Ah.
this. But if during our debate, I wasn't going to set the ground rule that we can't talk about anything before Superman or whatever the Zack Snyder Superman, I would bring that up because that's the dumbest thing in an otherwise pretty
calling it
decent
the
movie.
DCEU debate. So,
Yes, which means that Nolan stuff doesn't count.
right.
I would say Nolan's stuff is among the best stuff that's ever come out of Warner Brothers.
Yes,
maybe
which is
it's
why I
it's
don't
among
count
the
it.
best stuff that's come out of
Yeah.
superhero movies, honestly.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, G completely agrees. Like
Yeah.
in Wisconsin, the eye roll is actually culturally different than everyone else. It's like it means, wow, I love this movie.
It's I'd say it's the
We're
only
close enough to
super.
Canada that we don't have sarcasm here.
That's right.
I want to
I'd say it's
publicly apologize to G for constantly cutting her off and not letting her talk this entire episode.
Oh, it makes me feel very at home. That's how I grew up. I have the energy, and it's very true, of a person who grew up constantly having to fight to get anything.
Yeah, Chris, you remind me of the worst parts of my upbringing. So thanks for that.
No,
I'm glad I
like
could be
it.
here for all of you.
What else did you have to say about what else you're playing?
That's like the kind of shit that made me like read so much, because like there was no point in me even talking, so like I'm just gonna sit here and read.
I'm just gonna read. Were you in the middle of talking about? Did I fuck up? Were you in the middle of talking about what you're gonna play this week?
I literally don't
Sandlot.
remember saying anything.
We were talking about
Yeah.
Sandlot and s'mores, and then it was
Yeah.
like, let's watch this terrible Robin clip.
I don't
Okay.
remember getting interrupted, so
Yeah, I didn't either. I was like,
Yeah.
I thought there was a natural pause in there somewhere.
Oh,
right.
okay.
All
it's
right.
hard to tell because my sentences meander.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hippies, that's the end of our show. We hope you loved the Valiant volume that we have here. We will be doing more. Next week, we have kind of nothing. We're not doing Sandman and we're not doing Valiant, but we are having the Great Debate. The Great Debate is happening on Saturday at 6 p.m., where Chris Runt, Miracle Man, Danny Munoz, and one of his counterparts, I can't remember the name right now, is going to come through, and we're going to argue whether or not the DCU, is it hot fucking garbage, or is it comic book fucking genius? And is Zack Snyder a fucking genius?
Two
We're going to
things.
come through. We're going to have opening remarks. We're going to have actual debate, and then we're going to have closing remarks. And what I hope is, for anybody who's still in the chat, probably that's nobody, but if anybody else is sees this afterwards, that would be really great if you come in and chime in and tell us who won the great nerd debate.
So
I
first
will
off,
be in the comments just typing out the entire script to the original Suicide Squad.
There it is.
that's why we can't be friends, G. First of all,
wait. Why?
I was-
Because it's bad or because it's good? Okay, guess we'll find out.
I was wondering what happened to Judah because he was stuck on that stupid. There he is. He was
Yeah.
stuck on the stupidest, doofiest face possible, and I loved it.
Oh, I assume you just got sick of everyone and was like,
Second-
I'm done.
Robo, is it really 3-on-1?
No, because the Danny's friend is going to be is going to be on your side, anti-DCU.
Okay. Because I'm on the correct side, and if you could only find one of me, then there's a problem that I need to
it'll
fix.
be a 2v2. It'll be a 2v2. I will be your moderator. I am not going to be anyway, but I will. So I don't know if anybody knows. I'm a huge internet dork. I know Judah watches a couple of these channels, but if you go to Twitch or look at any of these like political channels, like Hassan Piker, Vosh, the Serfs, a lot of things they do is political debates. Now the debates they do are a lot more consequential. Like, should you have Medicare for all and shit like that, right? Do trans people actually deserve rights? Shit like that. Big life-changing stuff. We're gonna do the same kind of format, and it'll appear just as serious, but it's gonna be stuff like, does DCU suck? Who would win in this battle? Shit like that. I think depending on how many people tune in and how successful this first one's going to be, I think we're going to do more of these because I think it's going to be really fun. But
is Rob Liefeld actually good?
I think that should be one.
The answer is no, Judah. And
there are
don't even bother debating
argue
it.
for, but it wouldn't be, is he good artist or not? It's like it'd be something along the lines of like, how much is he actually impactful in comic books, shit like that.
So
I'm not a Rob
ahead.
Liefeld fan, but I do have a pretty good argument for why he, at the very least,
was good for comics.
Matters.
You want to end this on a cliffhanger because we had a similar conversation at the end of one episode before, and I can expand just a tiny bit and leave it on a cliffhanger. Part of the reason why Rob Liefeld is bad for the industry is he created Deadpool. We're out.
Whoa.
What's up, friendly neighborhood nerds? If you want to hear interviews from industry pros, get first looks, and have access to endless comic content, wake up. Please wake up. You're in a coma. Your mother misses you.